Hey everyone. First of all, I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone who posted feedback in my last video asking for feedback about what type of gear reviews you guys want to see on this channel. There was a pretty overwhelming consensus on there to, when I'm testing out a new piece of gear, to get a video out sooner with my first impressions and then save the full in-depth review for later when I've had a lot more experience with it. So this will be the first video of that type. First of all, apologies to for the lawnmower noises and stuff of suburbia here. Just doing a video here in the backyard. Unfortunately, with all the flooding that we've had around here, you've probably heard of in the news, it's really difficult for me to get up into the mountains right now without doing a very long drive around. So I don't want to be just another guy reviewing gear in his backyard. I like to get out there and show you guys in the field, but we'll have to make do for that right now. What I'm going to show you today is the Tarptent StratoSpire 2, a new tent that I've taken out on a couple trips with me. First of all, it's sitting here behind me. I'm going to run you guys through the setup of that real quick. Let me just get the camera positioned and we'll get going. Alright, there you go. I sped that up, but that took about 2 minutes to set up. I was cheating a little bit since I already had the stakes in position and the trekking poles adjusted, so in the field you're probably looking at less than a 5-minute setup, which is one of the things I really like about this tent. So let me open it up here and we'll start the tour. Alright, I've got it all opened up here. We'll kind of go fair weather to rainy weather as far as the progression of the video. The general shape of the tent is I guess you'd call it like a dual apex hexagonal pyramid. It's got 6 stakes around the side. Most of the ones up here on the doors use a elastic shock cord, which I'll get to in a second about why that's cool. And yeah, you can see the living space here is rectangular, but it runs kind of catty corner to the ridge line up here. So this is the tent totally opened up. If you look at it this way, it looks just like a rectangle, and then these guy lines here show you how big the vestibule space is when the doors are all rolled down, which I'll show you a little later. But while I got it opened up, we'll jump inside first, so we can kind of take a look at it from the inside out and how well it does in good weather, and then we'll show you the storm-proof mode of it a little later. Alright, so here's a view from the inside of the StratoSpire 2, marketed as a 2+ person tent, and what that means is it'll fit, normally fits, you know, plenty of room for 2 sleeping pads and gear and stuff. You can see here I'm taking up less than half the space. You can also, I'll show later, you can adjust it so that it will fit 3 20-inch sleeping pads side by side, so you could sleep 3 really cozily if you wanted to. Really big, you know, full door here, full double wall tent. You saw it's one of the nice things is it sets up with the interior still attached, which is great for the rain and whatnot. And here's, you know, if you're expecting good weather, you've got on both sides just a full view. I mean, views comparable to what you'd get in a tarp, with the doors all rolled back there and plenty of space. It's all sill nylon floor, sill nylon fly, and the mesh is super fine, where the views out of it are just incredible. It's finer than any mesh I've seen on a tent before, so that's great. So in nice weather you get full bug protection and but just great views, just like in a tarp. I'll give you a view from the outside, kind of show you what it looks for scale, what it looks like when I'm sitting in here. So one of the other great features about the tent that I like is there's plenty of room to sit up inside, you know, for a full-grown adult. The other nice thing with the asymmetric design. It works really well if you for sleeping 2 people head to foot, because you know I sit up like this and I've got plenty of room to lay back and sit up, and I'm right here at the apex. Whereas if I'm on the other side, it's just a mirror image. If I'm over here, do the same thing, sleep back, plenty of room that way. It is great, as you can see. If you're expecting great weather, you just get tons of airflow through here, great views, and you still get full protection from light, straight down rain, and bugs and insects. So that's kind of the fair weather setup about it, which I love. Now I'll show you how it would handle some rainy weather. Okay, so I've taken this tent out on 2 trips. I don't think I said that earlier. One with really excellent weather where I had it all opened up like we just saw, great views, great ventilation, and one where it was very rainy. So, and the tent did awesome in the rain, and here's why. First of all, I've got this door pitched down. You see just how close to the ground you know, all the entire side is, and you've got really steep walls on all the paneling. It sheds rain really well. And then I left this side open just for now so we can see. One of the nice things is if you have straight up and down rain, as you see here, because you've got a vertical panel here and a little bit of overhang on the edge here, if you're getting in a hurry in the rain, it won't, as long as the rain isn't driving in from the side like this, you can get inside the tent without letting the rainwater pour in and get your sleeping bag and stuff wet. So that's really nice too. Obviously this panel would be fully down in the rain, but I left it open here just to illustrate the bathtub floor here, which is kind of, here it's really easy to see because it goes up to the zipper, but you've got like a 4 inches maybe of bathtub floor lifting up. So with that combined with some good separation around the sides over here from the edge, and the edge coming so close to the bottom, when you have this thing totally zipped up, like there's not a way a drop of rain's getting in, as long as you seal up the seams. That's one of the kind of downsides to the tent, is you do have to seam seal it yourself. Did that, took an hour or so, but now it's just total bomb proof as far as the rain goes. Let me show you a nice thing about if you're inside. Let's say you had it opened up like I did before, and then you wake up in the night hearing raindrops, how quickly you can get it all battened down. Okay, so let's say I have the tent, you know, nice and opened up, 3 o'clock in the morning. I wake up to the sound of raindrops coming, or maybe thunder in the distance. So let's show you how quick I can go from this fully opened up view to getting it totally bombed out for the rain. All you have to do, just undo your Velcro there from the side, bring the zipper down a little bit, and then you've got your 2 elastic loops on the ends of your doors. Loop them to the stake out there and zip it up, and there you go. Right now I'm pretty well covered up. Zipper goes down, and just like that, you know, without me explaining it, 20 seconds you can have it go from totally open to boom, put the doors down, and you're ready to weather out some rain. And then let me show you, if you do end up, so I'm just going to detach from the tripod momentarily. So now we're inside here, we're waiting out a rainstorm. Maybe we wake up in the morning ready to cook some breakfast. I've got an enormous vestibule here to store my gear when keep it dry. Can cook here, of course not officially endorsed by the manufacturer, but because I'll show on this side, there's such a good distance away from the panels. You know, if you're using a small alcohol stove or something, there's plenty of room to cook in there and keep the heat away from the sill nylon, which is very important. You want to be very careful about. And there's also these apex vents right up here, you know, give you a little bit of breathing and also, you know, if you had a stove going, gives you an exhaust mechanism there. But very comfortable to hang out in the rain inside here. Another nice thing with these huge vestibules is you can, when you're entering the tent, there's enough room in here to squat down, take your rain gear off and stuff before you come in the tent. So it's a very great about keeping water outside of the tent. The one downside when it's all battened up like this, it gets quite hot in here really quickly, and it does not breathe very well. This tent really depends on having at least one of these panels opened up for some ventilation. The trip that I did where we had a lot of rain, I opened it up kind of like so. I had it buttoned down so it would keep rain out of the tent, but I left, you know, that opened up. It didn't have any gear in the vestibule, and you know, you get some breathability, but I still had quite a bit of condensation in here. So, you know, but you can, if you're in a downpour, it's a comfortable and dry haven inside here. And one last thing I forgot to mention about the rain, I mentioned earlier how all the stakeout points around here have elastic shock cord, which is great because sil nylon, when it gets wet, is notorious for sagging a little bit. So all your stake points already have tension on them from the elastic. And let me show you another nice thing. You say I'm inside here, inside the tent, it's been raining all night, and it starts to sag a little bit from the inside. I can open up the door, grab my trekking pole right here, and just push it up and just retension it immediately, all from the inside. Don't have to go out and adjust anything. So I can't really say enough about how awesome this tent is for handling wet weather. All right, one last point to make about the weather versus breathability of the tent is that the door panels can be opened up independently. So here I've got kind of the larger panel down with a smaller opening here. This would be great if you need that vestibule space, because there's still a ton of dry area in there and you still get a bit of overhang. I've got the zipper deployed a little bit, so I still get a few inches of overhang. So any rain that's not driving straight in the side here, I'm still going to stay dry, keep my gear dry, but still get some good airflow. And then on this side, I've done the opposite. I've pinned the larger panel back, and you still have so this way you get a smaller vestibule space, but direct access from the door makes it easier to get in and out. And having the tent pitched this way, if say the wind is coming straight at us here and we're getting wind-driven rain, you know, we have this panel shielding this way and this panel shielding this way, we'd still stay dry inside, but get, you know, great airflow and views out. Probably still wouldn't have any condensation issues. So just super versatile. You can really just set it up any way you like, and if that way doesn't work out for you and you start having rain come in, very quick to just batten the whole thing down and stay dry. Okay, one last thing to say, I know this video has already gone on pretty long, is that this is, of course, a two-wall tent, but you can set up each component independently. You can set up just the fly and sleep with it like a tarp, which in that case you would have a ton of room under there. You could probably sleep 4 people, 3 people, and all their gear for sure. And you can also set just the inner up and as like a bug bivy mesh tent if you're not expecting any rain at all and you still want protection from the bugs. You can do that. Everything just clips up inside here. I won't take the whole thing down, but just a few mitten clips like that, one more on the apex and a few more around the side, and the mesh tent can come out. So you can set it up like a traditional 2-wall tent where you know, pitch it. I guess it'd be the opposite. You'd pitch the fly and then you can hook the inside up, but I don't see why you do that. You just leave it hooked together and it can pitch all together. But just to show you, if you know, for whatever reason you get to camp and you want extra coverage and you're not worried about bugs, you could pull the inner out, leave it at home, save you some weight. It's already a really light tent, so undo a few of those around and that's how you can take the inner out. The other thing I mentioned is that the floor will expand to fit, you know, more floor space, and what you do to do that is you sacrifice a bit of head height. There's an extra loop up here that you clip to And now this part of your top hangs lower, and what that does is it allows your bathtub floor down here to pull out more, and you can get your three 20-inch pads, so about 60 inches of floor space if you do that. So I think that's all I have to say about the tent. I'll just do a summary here and then end this already very long video. Alright, I didn't do a video of tearing it down because it's just as quick and straightforward as setting it up. Here's what it looks like all packed up with a Nalgene for comparison there. Probably fit in something, I'm guessing like a 7 to 10 liter size is what it's going to take up in your pack. Nice thing is it comes with a sil nylon stuff sack, so if you carry it on the outside of your pack, you know, it'll repel some light moisture that way. Alright, so that wraps up the first impressions video on the Tarptent StratoSpire 2. Hope you guys all enjoyed that. Hope I answered a lot of your questions if you have them. If you have any more, leave a comment or send me a message. Be happy to answer them. In summary, I think it's an awesome tent. From just the 2 trips I've done, very weather worthy. It's great in the nice weather to be able to open it up and have views just like you do in a tarp, but not have the mosquitoes or anything mess with you either. So it's great. Really lightweight for a 2-person, maybe a 3-person tent. Comes in at like 40 something ounces, which is awesome. And the price is pretty competitive too compared to other, you know, top-end tent manufacturers out there doing their 2 or 3-person tents. I'm very impressed. I can't see, if it keeps performing the way it has so far, solid A+ from me in my opinion. Of course, since this is just first impressions video, remember it's only based off 2 overnighters that I did with it. I did get some rain, and you know, it performed excellently. So really liking the tent. We'll be back later on after I've got a bunch more use out of it. I'm sure you'll see it on some of my future trip videos. And you know, I can give you some more long-term thoughts on that. So there'll be a link in the description to Tarptent's website, which has a lot more info, pictures and stuff. Go there if you have any more questions. Thank you very much for watching through the long video. We'll see you next time.